Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel. Today, I have something a little different. I'm going to take you on a little journey through a classic, exciting, and chaotic game mode to a very popular franchise, Call of Duty Zombies. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Zombies, to me, like I bet it is for you and a lot of other players, has been one of my all-time favorite video game modes to ever exist. Whether it's training for hours to get those high rounds, or camping out with my friends until we were overwhelmed, it has been a video game staple growing up. New friendships have formed, but honestly, if I were to break down all the hours of play, most of the time I was actually playing solo. For hours and hours just training zombies in a circle, trying to get to the highest round possible before I had to go to bed, or better yet, before my parents threw my 360 out the window. It's no secret that COD Zombies has had some highs and lows, some moments that players will never forget, but other moments we wish that we can permanently erase from our brains. Today we're going to go into the history of COD Zombies, its current state, and discuss if zombies can be fixed. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you my 5 fixes that I believe could help push zombies in the right direction. You can trust me, I am an expert in these things. It's important to note, Zombies started out as a completely throwaway game mode, some fun activity that you would unlock when you completed the World at War campaign. Studio head Mark Lamia?
And I'm here with Mark Lamias.
I think.
Lamias.
Has since said that he almost cut it because zombies didn't belong in Call of Duty. But this little throwaway game mode, well, no one at Treyarch would have imagined what it would turn into the years to come. Within weeks of World at War's November 2008 launch, the unlockable Nazi Zombies co-op mode went from a little Easter egg mode to the biggest reason many players kept playing. The game mode was such a hit that the studio would add 3 new maps. This skyrocketed player retention and targeted a large slice of the player base that would simply lose interest in competitive multiplayer after discovering zombies. By Treyarch's next installment, the game mode was released at the same time as the campaign and multiplayer. The game mode became so popular that by the time Black Ops 2 released, Treyarch had a dedicated zombie team working on map creation, plotting out an overarching story through elaborate and challenging Easter eggs, and even hiring celebrity voice actors for playable characters. With so much success, other studios tried their hand at recreating the zombie magic, and with some success. However, no studio could truly replicate Treyarch's Golden Goose. Speaking of Golden Geese, COD Zombies saw a golden age toward the second half of Black Ops 2. From the launch of one of the greatest maps this community has ever been blessed by, Mob of the Dead, aka Alcatraz. The golden age lasted throughout Black Ops 3, ending on a masterful note. Treyarch released 8 fully remastered classic zombie maps from World at War, Black Ops 1, and Origins from Black Ops 2. Fans were hype, to say the least. As lovable and cherished COD Zombies is, it went through some pretty rough eras, with some moments that many people believed would be the death of the game mode entirely. Of course, I can't talk about zombie low moments without covering the launch of Black Ops 2. Treyarch boasted about an obscenely huge map that players could enjoy as a whole or 3 standalone sections. This was unlike anything the community had seen before and, funny enough, would never see again. While new mechanics like buildables, the famous weapon-saving fridge, and of course the bank system, all were viewed on average as positive changes, many players voiced their struggles and frustration with the map. Lengthy bus rides that always seemed to leave too early from their designated stops, a complicated and frustrating pack-a-punch mission, and thick fog in between map areas obscuring players' vision and unleashing the wrath of the denizens to any player brave enough to venture forth into said fog. These were just a few criticisms that reinforced players' negative outlook on the map's release. Due to mechanics like the fridge and the bank, a new skill gap was forming. Veterans came into each game with pack-a-punch weapons and up to 250,000 points in the bank, while new players struggled to wrap their heads around the new build mechanics. Critics would call Transit an under-explained scavenger hunt that strands casuals. Day 1 also saw frequent disconnects and game-ending host migrations that would plague the game for months while the studio was desperately trying to release hotfixes. And although the next map, Die Rise, was seen as an improvement to the previous map on release, it too was met with much criticism. moving perks tied to elevators, death by falling, and a wonder weapon that caused the player to slip and slide. One could imagine how death by falling and a slip and slide wonder weapon could be an epic combo. But even though Die Rise helped to fortify player retention, many fans feared that it would be the beginning to the end of Zombies. But luckily, as we all know, that was not the case. But Black Ops 2 launch wasn't the only low moment. The game mode would face a multitude of problems during Black Ops 4. Although the game released with not one, not two, but 4 maps to enjoy, the mode was met with hostility due to the obscene amount of blue screen crashes, especially when trying to perform Easter egg steps.
Are you about that time, huh? Are you actually joking?
Changes to mechanics didn't seem to really catch the general fan base, like the removal of the beloved perk Juggernog due to its crutch connotation. And I haven't even mentioned how complicated and long the Easter eggs had become. No, for real, if you wanted to do the Blood of the Dead Easter egg, just cancel all your plans for that day. Also, instead of Easter eggs being an optional quest line, it now seemed a requirement to at least complete some level of the Easter egg just to get set up, further pushing a wedge between the casual audience and your hardcore fan base. Player retention also struggled for BO4 due to the brand new titan of the gaming world, the popular Raid Shadow Legends. No, of course I'm talking about Fortnite, which, as we all know, took the gaming world by storm, perfecting the Battle Royale formula that games like H1Z1 and PUBG had started. But John, what does Fortnite have to do with zombies? Well, great question. The studio feared that as Black Ops 4 lost its launch novelty, players would quickly turn back to battle royales like Fortnite, or even Apex Legends, which would come out only 5 months after Black Ops 4's release. Treyarch was desperate to jump on the new trend, and at launch would release their own BR called Blackout. As we know through player polling, Blackout was BO4's biggest success. However, it spelled disaster for zombie fans. The studio's sudden pivot to build Blackout in just 9 months pre-game's release yanked a significant number of programmers and artists away from every other game mode. The zombie group still had its own designers, headed by Jason Blundell, but they were sharing an overworked engine and an understaffed test pool, leading to the already mentioned game-ending crashes.
Are you actually...
Now, I try to only focus on the Treyarch Zombies since they have been the most successful. Like I've mentioned, other studios have tried their hand at the beloved game mode, and with some decent success. But I'm sorry, I can't title a section of the video COD Zombies Low Moments without discussing one of the worst abomination zombie fans has ever seen. Vanguard came after the successful soft reboot of Zombies in Black Ops Cold War, which we'll get to. Hold your horses. Sledgehammer Games wanted to try their hand at the game mode, but make it their own. Abandoning the round-based formula, Vanguard adopted more roguelite mechanics, teleporting you to random areas to complete small objectives, then teleporting you back to the hub in their launch map, Duran Fong. I gotta breathe. There was a plethora of criticism to the game mode, such as missing fundamental mechanics at launch that had already been perfected in previous titles, such as wall buys, wonder weapons, pack-a-punch camos, a solo pause, and main Easter egg quest. This is not to mention the objective loop felt dull and repetitive, and that is saying a lot. We are talking about round-based zombies after all. You would think it would be hard to make the mode any more repetitive than it already is. And please, don't get me started on the repetitive voice lines.
Professor, it is time to bid your toy soldiers auf Wiedersehen. Professor, it is time to bid your toy soldiers auf Wiedersehen.
With a promise to brand new mechanics and a new engine, Cold War was a breath of fresh air. A perfect balance to lifelong zombie fans and brand new fans. It offered a soft reboot to the franchise by keeping the round-based formula. Not only did most fans return to the beloved game mode after a few disappointing years, but newer fans were eager to give the game mode a try. Zombies was back, baby, with some intricately designed maps, my personal favorite being Kino der Toten, a zombified version of the real-life location of Checkpoint Charlie. On top of 4 round-based maps, Cold War also released a brand new open-world zombie mode in the form of Outbreak. The launch of Outbreak was an instant success, with record-breaking numbers of players rushing back to the game to play. It was, to quote Treyarch's developers, the biggest zombie weekend since release. However, after the honeymoon phase wore off, criticism began to surface. Critics and fans alike would call the mode too repetitive. There's that word again. And round-based loyalists would quickly argue that the mode only applied to casuals. Filthy casuals, am I right? Another criticism noted the lack of content and content gaps between map releases. Many players felt that after Outbreak, Treyarch had neglected zombies. Treyarch would eventually release a super Easter egg in Outbreak, which would create a week-long player spike. However, interest would quickly settle. I included MW3 in this section because I believe Outbreak, with its success, led to Modern Warfare 3's open-world zombies called Operation Deadbolt. Now, although Sledgehammer Games was the primary developer for Modern Warfare 3, the zombie mode was given to Treyarch. Now, although the game mode was controversial to say the least, PC Gamer would call it actually the best thing going for Modern Warfare 3. So there's that. But although the game mode may have been the best part, the criticism started rolling in, calling the game just DMZ with zombies. The game was plagued with bugs and lacked any endgame content. Now, while modes like Outbreak and Operation Deadbolt may have been a neat experiment, many fans felt the open world style lacked any zombies feel. That scary, post-apocalyptic feel that the maps had in the past. And honestly, for me, kind of felt lazy. The Outbreak maps were for large-scale multiplayer modes in the first place, and of course, Operation Deadbolt was just a Warzone map. Both modes didn't feel like zombies at all. They just added a bunch of zombies mechanics like perks or mystery box locations. I mean, where was the passion? Like visually, what feels like an undead nightmare? Just no comparison. Hell, Vanguard was terrible, but at least they gave it an atmosphere.
Professor!
No, stop. So how is COD Zombies doing today? Like I mentioned, it can be difficult to determine how a singular game mode is doing within an overall title, because unfortunately player counts aren't broken down between modes, so it can be hard to determine just how much of the populace of players are playing zombies. However, at launch, with a conservative estimate of 30% of the players playing zombies, showed an average congruent count total of 170,000 players. That puts the total average zombie count at 51,000 players. Now, of course, this was at launch. With 2 brand new maps, what about today? With the same estimates, we have an average total of 69,000 players, or 20,000 for zombies. Now, disclaimer, this is only Steam data. This is not counting PlayStation or Xbox that could easily double these numbers. Even so, Black Ops 6 holds the highest verifiable records for the most simultaneous zombie players to date. However, even with this record high count, Steam reviews for Black Ops 6 are very negative. Currently sitting at an abysmal 31% and 45% approval rating for recent and all-time reviews, respectively. But on the bright side, around 40% of all those positive reviews explicitly mention zombie maps are the reason I'm still playing. So let's answer the question. Can zombies be fixed? Does it need to be fixed? Or is the game mode broken beyond repair? Well, despite the player count, it's no secret that zombies is not what it once was, and that we are no longer in a so-called golden age. But can we get back there? Now, let me play a little devil's advocate here. Trying to please everyone within the zombie community has to be fucking impossible. What? Weapon tiers? Armor? This isn't zombies. Stop changing things. Please add new mechanics. These systems are outdated. Change things. No matter what you do, people will be displeased. It's inevitable. But what I would like to ask studios like Treyarch is this. Where's the passion? Let's not forget, Zombies was a little passion project from the start that turned into some of the most enjoyable content Call of Duty had and still has to offer. However, we see this time and time again with all types of media. What starts out as a passion project loved and adored by many gets bought up by guys with suits looking to sell a product. They don't necessarily care how enjoyable that product is, they just care if you're paying for it. Passion is replaced by corporate greed. Questions go from how do we enhance the experience for consumers to how do we get them to pay more for providing less. So what are you saying, John? Are we screwed by corporate greed? Is there no hope? No hope. We're all gonna die. No, but I think we're in for a bumpy ride. Zombies will never be the perfect game mode, but here are just 5 of the ways that I think can improve zombies and get things back on track. 1. Bring back true offline mode instead of constant online play. Seriously, solo play offline or give us infinite pauses. Cold War did it. My toaster can do it, so your 2025 AAA servers can do it too. Also, let me infinitely save my game and not have it expire. All these limitations have to be server-side issues. That wouldn't be an issue if you just let us play offline. 2. Passionate-filled maps that fill the player with excitement or terror, aka make me feel like I'm playing zombies. Don't phone it in. I would rather have 3 fully fleshed out good zombie maps than 10 multiplayer maps with zombie elements. To be fair with this one, it seems like they're listening in Black Ops 6 and have really worked on the zombie aura. So thanks Treyarch, but watch your ass. 3. A workshop. Open a curated mod toolkit. BO3's custom map scene still averages 3,000 PC players 9 years later. That's just free retention and practically endless content for your fan base. 4. Make us overpowered. I don't know about you guys, but killing hordes and hordes of zombies is very fun. I'm so sick and tired of guns getting nerfed and rebalanced just to keep things fair for multiplayer. Honestly, just buff everything and separate the stats from Warzone and multiplayer. So what if people are reaching higher rounds? That's what's fun. 5. Character and story. I don't know about some of you, but I could not care less about BO6's zombie story. I know they return to set characters, which is great, but piggybacking with Cold War storyline and now Vanguard's...
Professor!
I said enough! Listen, when you have a great and engaging story, callbacks and little Easter eggs, no pun intended, are great and fun for the audience.
Don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day. Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
But this is all inside a great storyline, filled with character arcs, bad guys with actual motives, and of course, a challenging but engaging Easter egg mission. Make me invest in the characters like you did with the original 4. Okay, I'm done with my rant for today. Now I know I didn't cover everything. Believe me, there's a lot that I had to leave out, but I tried to get as much as I could. But let me know down in the comments what I missed. Was there a mechanic that got you to stop playing Modern Zombies? Or is there something that keeps you playing to this day? Let me know. I would love to hear other people's perspectives. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next rant.